My topic today, the title is Updating Club of Remy by Adopting Some Group Process. I put 3 question marks there because from my experience, I'm not sure if we can do that or not. But obviously, Jonathan and Richard, we talked considerably a lot about the possibility. So that the next 2 slides will be my ideas. Let me present them to you first. Okay, this is not. I need to practice my controlling of my screens. Too many screens. Okay. Why it's not moving? Huh? Okay. Anyway, you remember this guy, Fish, talking about the determination of a human being and the destiny or mission of our scholars. And he raised the question, what should be the mission of our scholars? And what should be the mission or destiny or determination? So I don't know which one is the very correct translation of a human being in general. So borrowing from that spirit, our question today, you two already covered, is what is our determination or our mission of a Club of Remy? A simple review, we realized that in less than 1 year, we now already have 123 session recordings on YouTube for the public. We have 80 people subscribed to our channel, and we have 121 signed up members. So it is indeed the time that we can ask, why are we coming together to Club of Remy meetings? In the website initially created, I put Remy as really relevant emergency, mindfully minding you. That means anyone who had an issue, who had an emergent or urgent topic need to be discussed, can come to us and get it discussed. So I looked back, I found 5 key phrases on our web page. The first one is we want to model Macy conferences. Most of people know what is that. For those who don't know, those are very important international cross-disciplinary conferences happened in the middle of World War II and lasted to the middle of 1950s. The product coming from came out from those conferences has substantially changed our world. That was a great contribution to the civilization in my view. So another phrase is Club of Rome, not Rome. Club of Rome had done also very substantial works by working together, scholars from different disciplines coming together, working together. The most impact they have generated was that famous report named Limit to Growth. And that was the epistemologically game changer for our society. Okay, we also had the third phrase, meeting of minds. That distinguishes us from places like a TED Talk, because the TED Talk is somebody is in the model of a great sage on the great stage and talking about 20 minutes and got a lot of applause and brief question and answers. But we emphasize the other way. We emphasize on questions and answers and deep engaged conversations here. So perhaps I guess that is the major reason that all of us enjoying being here. And fourth one is the self-organization. We are walking our talk about the self-organization. Here, self start from each individual brain and evolved into the second level self, which is our three brain discussant structure. So anybody produced that title abstract outline here and issued out a call for discussants is actually going upstage from one self, from one brain into three brain. And the third stage could be concrete, solid project groups. I see several of such groups are emerging in our club already. And finally, the most important one is collective wisdom that we are chasing. We're trying to reach, because every one of us as an individual scholar, as distinguished professor, we all had our own individual wisdom established. Now, perhaps through this club as a media, we can move one step further. So that was the 5 key phrases identified. And now it is time we can raise this question: can we improve our effectiveness and efficiency, and how can we improve? And so that is why we look at possibilities of using group processes. The easiest one I would like to mention is Sue Gabriel's roundtable method, because that method has been used in a couple of ISSS conferences regularly. George is here. George is our next president of ISSS. And my understanding is ISSS itself is also considering adopting some kind of a group process to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of that organization. It's very simple because they set up simple and easy to follow rules. Number one, every meeting they have a facilitator, but that role is rotating. So far, Club of Remy facilitator is just myself, but if it can be rotated, I think we will have more power or more energy. And they clarify the format of the meeting, the purpose of coming to the meeting. We sort of doing some of that already. And they have a guideline or a reminder of the whole meeting process. But one of the key elements is that round table format, that they have people practice each time just talk for 1 minute. And sometimes there are less people, more time, so they can allow 2 minutes. But everybody practice that skill of just finish what he or she wants to talk within 1 minute. So I think that is something not very easy to be accepted by our professors, because each time you open your mouth, it's 2 hours, so or at least 1 hour. But it is fun because it offers a chance to let everybody to hear from everybody, and that is something very valuable. So roundtable method, first one. Second one is the famous 4-level group conversation. Comes from Institute for Cultural Affairs, namely the international NGO named ICA. 4 level, they had different fancy names, but at the bottom, it's very simple and very powerful, because they realized that sometimes group members each focused on a different aspect of the responses. And basically we had 4 levels of responses. The first one will be sensing the data. And when we hear something, we kind of taking in some kind of, okay, I heard something. And immediately to the subconscious level, we will make connections of what we are hearing into something of our memory. So that is the feeling and association level. And after that response, then our brain goes to evaluation or understanding of the message. And the final stage will be to do something, action, deciding. So this method is we simply make a rule for everyone in a group. So say, please, let's talk 1 level at a time. So at least there are 4 rounds of talk. Like you just heard what I'm saying. The first round you can only talk about, okay, what I hear Jason said so and so, and that's it. And what do you think? What do you feel? That's next round. So you see that by structuring the interactions among a group, they greatly improved the efficiency and the effectiveness of those meeting of minds. From there, you can go 1 more step. This 6 direction discussion is actually a twisted version of the famous 6 thinking hats. We repackaged in a very just for 6 direction. This is because in our 3-dimensional space, we had a perception of 6 directions: down, up, left, right, back, front. Very simple. But we label each direction with different aspects of the conversation or the focus. So when the facilitator said, okay, let's do some down thinking, down is the earth you're standing on. So we talk about the fact, information, data. We share thoroughly, comprehensively on this direction. And then let's talk about the back. Back of your neck, you have a monkey on your neck, something instinct you're feeling, you have some pain there, it triggered some of your emotion. And then let's talk about the left. Left represents logic, critiques, risks. And after that, let the whole group talk about the right. Okay, let's look at the right. That's how can we be active, proactive, and what are the hopes and what are the values? Those belongs to the right direction. And on the front, how do we move forward? That regarding to creation, adventure, and the change. And up is, okay, so-called commanding center. So how can you be systematically addressing your issue? How do you maintain your control or regulation? How do you do cybernetics? And how to do planning? So that is also a very easy and a very simple method that we could adopt. Another thing I would like to remind you, for those of you who do not, this is Toastmaster club is for people who practice in the English as the second language. So for those of you who English is your first language, you might not be aware of that. But that was an amazingly successful club, started from 1924 and spread into 145 countries. And they currently have 16,200 clubs all over, holding their meetings like every week. And so this big number of members. And why they could become such successful organization? Because they had, their format is interesting. They assign roles to each participant. So for each meeting, you could be a set of person, you prepare the room. And you could be the greeter, you standing at the door. Your duty is to greet everybody coming in. And you have a joke master. You need to bring some jokes for the group. And there's somebody performing timer. They use actually a little physical timer to time whenever everyone speak. And there is a grammarian in charge of capturing grammatical mistakes. That is, remember, this is a group for practicing English. So like my bad English, if I sit in Toastmaster, I will be caught for a lot of problems as a feedback to me, so that I can improve. And also some people would like to have a bad habit in talking. They say, So there's one person in the group in charge of counting the R's. And when the speaker finish, he or she will report how many R you have is involved in your talk. So this kind of a role, and of course, they have a menu person to do the record, etc. So that is something interesting that we can think about. Perhaps we can use some of that as well. And they have a very specific flow of work, of meeting as well. They have an opening, then they have a small topic they call table topic. And then they will vote the best table topic of the day. And then the main speakers will talk, each talk like 5 minutes, make a speech, make a toaster. And then they have evaluators doing vote, etc., and closing. So that is how they run their practical practice of a second language, English as second language. And then we have Richard's anagram method. You just heard the detail. And we have Jonathan's identity, belief, value model, I call it, IBV method. But last but not least, we have plenty of online tools. These are some websites that you can check, or I can share the screen with you later when we get into that. Basically, these are tools to bring whatever in a face-to-face meeting that can be done on the Zoom environment or website environment. So these raw Jamboard is from Google, Practica.com, the Bring, etc. These are resources that if you are willing to learn, we can kind of review them and evaluate to make use of some of them. So that's what I'm going to question you. Are we willing to use some of these methods, including what Jonathan had talked and what Richard had introduced you as well?